Getting close. I know it. Hello, James.
What is up, Chocolatiers? Welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about Crime 101 starring Chris Hemsworth, Mark Ruffalo, Monica Barbaro, and Halle Berry. Jesus, I was trying to remember all the big cast lists. Barry Keoghan's also in this film, but not as much as, well, I guess he's about even as Monica Barbaro. But anyways, if you've seen the trailers and you already kind of know the plot, this is a action heist film slash drama with Chris Hemsworth as the lead, and basically he's like a jewel thief or diamond thief, if you would, and he's very smart. He doesn't get caught, and he runs all of his crimes on the 101. And so you kind of have three bridging paths. You have his path, you have Halle Berry's path, and then you have Mark Ruffalo's path. We'll start with Mark Ruffalo. Mark Ruffalo is the lead cop in this case. Nobody believes him that anybody is, of course, doing all these crimes on a 101. They think it's just a coincidence. And the few that don't, or do believe him at least, that do think it's a coincidence, or don't think it's a coincidence, they don't care. They make it a point to show you that his department is full of dirty cops, and they do not give a shit. They protect each other. There's actually one scene in the film where they shoot and kill a guy, and they plant a gun on him, and they try to act like he's one of the 101 killers or robbers, and then they think that Barry Keoghan at one point is, and so it's just really like they're just trying to point the blame on somebody. They don't really care. They don't do any investigations, but of course Mark Ruffalo does, and so he is the one in this sense. Imagine like Heat, right? He is that cop trying to catch. He's like Al Pacino's character, right? Kind of like that. And so you have that going on. You have Chris Hemsworth doing what he's doing, and then Halle Berry comes into the mix because her and Chris Hemsworth, pretty far into the movie, I would say, her plot fully starts about an hour and a half, I would say. She is kind of working for like this financial firm, and they are they're kind of like insurances, right? So like for these rich billionaires and millionaires, whatever. Like for example, this one man, the one that they keep talking about in the film, he is having this big old party where he's paying 11 million people for like this wedding, and having these diamonds shipped out and all this other crazy expensive stuff. And they basically just insure that party, so they were to get robbed, they get their money back. And in the case of this film, Chris Hemsworth, it's kind of like almost like a one final job type of thing. Halle Berry goes to him because she realizes that she's not going to get partner anytime soon. And every year they tell her the same thing. And they make a point of it that because she's a 53-year-old black woman, that it's never going to happen because she doesn't, quote unquote, according to them, have the hots anymore. Now, this is one of the problems with modern day Hollywood. I feel like they want to pick somebody like Halle Berry to play this role. I think you said that to the wrong woman. Like, they literally have like this younger woman who's like the new hot stuff, and I'm just like, Halle Berry is so much more attractive than this woman. But once again, that's a movie, so you kind of have to fall into it and be like, oh, okay, whatever. Just, just ignore the fact it's Halle Berry. But this movie, I'm going to get into a little bit of negatives. I'm kind of disappointed because I feel like the trailers had a lot of false advertisements. This movie, you would probably think, like, you hear like the rap beats, it's like I'm a, and like, he's like, I need you to step out of the car. Like, Chris Hemsworth doing his American accent and stuff as it's slowly slipping every now and then. You would think that this is like an action-packed, like thrill ride, like you're going on this roller coaster that's not going to let off or whatever. It's pretty tame. There's like, I would say outside of, because, of course they have to have an opening heist. There's like two heists throughout the whole movie. One by one character, one by another character, and technically there's another character involved in that other one. And they're so like tame, like that. It is kind of realistic, I will give them that, but there's no like crazy shootouts, craziest that whatever, as the trailer led you to believe. This movie is just kind of like it's not hitting in those aspects, right? If you're going to watch a crazy thief movie, this is not going to be that. You've got a bunch of cool car chase scenes, I will say that. They're pretty dope, actually. I really enjoyed those scenes a lot. But where the movie also kind of let me down was that, for example, characters like Monica Barbaro is in this film. I actually didn't even realize she was in this movie until she showed up. And I was freaking out. I'm a big fan of hers. She did not need to be in this movie. And if she was, like if her character was still in this movie, you could have casted anybody. I don't know why they casted her, because I feel like they just underutilized her. Same with Halle Berry's character, which we'll get to later. She just, for example, she's supposed to be like the romance, aspect for Chris Hemsworth, but they didn't tell you this in the trailer, and I'm going to tell you right now. This is not really a spoiler, because it's just kind of how his character acts. So he's not the suave badass that the trailer leads you to believe, of him like robbing these people or whatever. Very early on in the movie, I would say within 20 minutes, he loses his nerves because something happens on the job. And it's pretty much realistic. Like, he can't talk to women. He's really bad at dates. He's really bad at talking to people. And then the movie kind of retcons itself because, for example, when he talks to Halle Berry's character for the first time about an hour and a half in, he's all suave and cool and like this. And I'm like, why couldn't you have done this with? I guess because the other's kind of real. I guess that's what they're kind of trying to show. But still, though, it's like, it's whatever. But anyways, yeah, he like can't talk to Monica Barbara's character, and it's very awkward. And I really was loving how they were showing more of an honest aspect of real life dating and stuff like that. But they really try to set up like this romance, and it feels very Drive-esque, like very inspired by that film. How like Ryan Gosling's character is with the woman that he's dating, like the roommate, whatever, like wherever she lives. I'm trying to remember. I haven't watched that movie forever. But that woman, it's very similar to that, except I feel like because of how Drive was, he was a little bit more suave about it. This just comes across like, I don't care about your relationship, and the film almost kind of does like an end-all be-all type thing towards the climax of the film, where I'm just like, I don't care about this relationship whatsoever. They also try to get in some backstory. That stuff's kind of flat, I feel like. Where the movie really shines, I feel like, is this overall story of the heist that's kind of going to play off. Like I said, Halle Berry shows up. She's pissed off because of how they're treating her or whatever. Chris Hemsworth kind of offers her, hey, we can rob from these guys, whatever it's that. And she's like, coming up with the plan, whatever. And it's like supposed to be this big old heist. The only problem is, once again, I feel like I was pretty disappointed with how that turned out. Does it make sense? Yeah, but I don't know, man. Okay, I'm just going to be real with you. I'm just going to be real, all right? I don't know what the hell. I don't know what's going on. Like, I was like sitting in this movie and I was like, okay, like I liked the first 30 minutes, really liked the first hour and a half. I didn't really like the Monica Barbara stuff, but like Halle Berry's character goes through all this stuff. She stands up to her boss. She does this and that, whatever. But she has like this big like crescendo that you're like, okay, this is gonna pay off, and then it just doesn't. Like within 5 minutes, she just like something happens, and then you're kind of like, oh, okay, this is where the movie's at. And I just feel like the ending is very unsatisfying, and I'm just really disappointed to say that. Like I was leaving this movie like just kind of in shock, because especially when a movie's like your most anticipated of the month, you're like, shit. Like I would just leave. I was entering this film thinking it was like going to be like at least an 8 to a 10, right? And I'm leaving kind of going, it's like a 7. There's nothing inherently wrong with it. There's great performances. Barry Keoghan gives an excellent performance. His character basically comes into play as like this young kind of up and comer. His father, I guess, used to be like this big guy back in like the day or whatever, this and that, and he's trying to like prove himself, and so he's against Chris Hemsworth, of course. And Chris Hemsworth, like I said, his character really grew on me because of how funny it is played off, because I really thought he was going to be like this macho, serious dude, and like he's just so fucking awkward, and it's hilarious how they play it off. Halle Berry does a great performance. Mark Ruffalo does a great job. I actually feel like his storyline and Halle Berry's were the two best. I would probably put Chris's last, simply because you can kind of relate with Halle Berry, what she's going through at the workplace, and also with Mark Ruffalo. He's like he seems like the last good cop in this department, and he's just trying to catch this guy. And I think it's funny that every time he plays a cop, which he plays a cop a lot, he always ends up playing a decent cop. He ends up playing like a one that you would try to be friends with. Like he's like, oh man, you saved me, I'm gonna save you. You did this, you did this. Like if you saw Task last year, that's literally what he did. Like he's like, hey, keep the money, kids. I know you need it. And I'm like, you a real one, Mark. He's chill like that, right? So I expect him to be chill up in this, and he was chill in this. But I don't know. I don't know if it was just a lack of action, because this is fully just a drama. There's just like really no action. I don't know if it's just a lack of that or just maybe the action that we got with the story they were telling was just kind of like lackluster. Like, I don't even know what I really fully expected. I guess I was just kind of thinking, oh, maybe this is gonna be like a Michael Mann's Thief or something like that. But it doesn't really even have the vibes of that either. And it's just like, I don't know, because like that movie, for example, doesn't have like a whole lot of action to like the third act of that film. But this is just like, it's just like a whole lot of like, oh, he's trying to date this girl, but like he really can't do that because, you know, what he's doing. And like even like she's noticing, she's like, you don't have any pictures around your house. It's very odd. Like, you just moved here. And he's like, you know, he's so fucking awkward. And then Halle Berry's just like, I kind of want to steal from these people, but I kind of don't. And then Mark Ruffalo's just like full straight up like, we gotta catch this guy. It's one-on-one guy. I don't have any proof, but he's there. And that's just kind of the movie until it really ends. I feel like this movie does not need to be 2.5 hours whatsoever. That's the biggest crime of this movie. That's the biggest crime. It's 2.5 hours. And I feel like 20 minutes of that is the Monica Barbaro. So cut that. Cut it out. Like, that stuff does not need to be in the film whatsoever. Because it goes nowhere. And even, technically it does go somewhere, but it's so, it don't fit the film. I didn't like it. But I still overall enjoyed the vibe of what I got. I think the opening heist is fine. I think the last one actually has a lot of tension to it because there's a lot of stuff going on. The trailer's kind of spoiled what that is. So if you've seen the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't know, man. Like, I'm just a little upset. Okay. I was like, man, like I was hoping this was going to be a lot better than what it was. It's still a 7 out of 10 for me. I still think it's a good film. It's just not I don't think it's a great film. Like, I wouldn't put this up there with some like the best heist films. I wouldn't. I'm like, honestly, there's another heist film. Is it Piano Tuner? I think it's just called Tuner. It's coming out later on this year. That looks like it's probably gonna be better than this. And there's just a lot of movies like that where I just feel like this is gonna slowly start dropping into my list by the end of the year. Nothing wrong with the film per se. It doesn't really commit any huge film atrocities. That's why I was kind of conflicted on my score, because it doesn't really do anything bad. And I don't want to be that guy to say, well, my expectations were more than what I thought the film was going to be. I don't want to be that guy either. But at the same time, the trailer's showing me all this crazy stuff or whatever. And then in the context of the film, you're like, oh, okay. It's like kind of mundane. So blame the trailer, I guess, if you would. Don't watch that. If you have not seen anything, don't watch the trailer. The trailer will get you fucking hyped. And you're going to go in going, fuck yeah, Crime 101. And you're going to like sit there and nothing's going to happen for like half of this movie. And then when something does happen, you're gonna be like, okay. There's also one character, by the way, there's no payoff. They don't even go back to that character whatsoever. And I was like, what happened to him? But yeah, with that, like and subscribe for more. Comment down below, let me know your thoughts on this film. Did you like Crime 101 like me, or did you love it like I wish I did? And with that, like and subscribe for more. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.
Guys you work for, you think they're squeaky clean?
I need to start considering